It's the fact that nobody knows what it means. So I guess, so let's say in a non-ideal world, the most frustrating thing is stakeholders, right? So who is really a stakeholder? And I spend a lot of my time trying to explain to new product managers as well, like what is a stakeholder and what is their job. So when I came in too, I was taught that my job was to like gather all the stuff from stakeholders and put it into requirements. And I see a lot of product owners doing that as well. And especially ones trained just through CSPO. That's how they make their user stories, gather from stakeholders, put it into the backlog. And I try to explain to them, like a stakeholder is somebody who has a stake in your product, but they're not the person coming up with the solutions. They should be somebody that you're trying to, it should be somebody that you're getting input from, distilling that input into whatever is needed for it to make a decision, and then running with the decision, right? Like you're not asking them for permission. You're trying to understand and use them for the knowledge that they need. So what happens is a lot of people go in, and I've experienced it myself, where you're like, well, the head of marketing is our stakeholder. I'm like, why? Why is the head of marketing our stakeholder? We're not doing anything to do with marketing. And the head of marketing is just giving solutions and requirements for what you want built from our team. And I'm like, they're not a stakeholder. They should be a partner on how to successfully launch this, right? So how do I go to the head of marketing and say, this is when we're launching it. I need to work with your team to figure out how do we launch it successfully. I want to make sure that they understand everything so that you guys can do your job well. And everybody sees it more as, no, the head of marketing tells me what to do. And it's really interesting, this concept. So that's where I've previously been super frustrated when I do this. That's where I see a lot of people be frustrated now, is this concept of who is a true stakeholder. And to me, it's the customer and the business goals at the end of the day dictate what you need to do, right? Like, got to listen to the customer. They're the only one you should really be getting the needs from in that perspective. You can have internal customers. You can have requirements from a technical perspective, and you should talk to those people. You'll definitely want to understand the impacts it has on other parts of the organization, but people should not be dictating solutions down for you to run with. That's not the job of a stakeholder. It's to inform and advise and give you the right information you need to make decisions, but it's not to provide the decisions for you. So in an unideal environment, that's definitely like my biggest frustration with that. In an ideal environment, I guess it's like when I do have the room and I have the space and I can make the decisions myself, and like what am I left with? I guess one of the frustrating things I guess I would run into is the environment in which you operate. Like, so much of my job is dependent on having the right tools, like getting data. Sometimes it's really hard to get data implemented into your systems, right? If I don't have Google Analytics, Amplitude, any type of these projects, it's really hard for me to do my job. I can always find ways around it, but if you don't have those tools set up from a company perspective, you can only influence so much as your job as a product manager to really get in buy-in to get those types of things. So that's where I've run into a lot of frustration, and even ideal environments is just not having the tools you need to succeed set up so that you can do an iterative approach, so that you can get the data back, so that you can make decisions moving forward.